Hi there.
Hi.
You probably know, but I'll just go through it. If you're new, I am Lou,
And I am John.
and this is our kind of Christmas video. We've got one or two from years past that are very kind of directive, aren't they?
Yeah,
They give
yeah,
you tips and,
yeah.
and things like this. This time we wanted to,
Yeah, and we'll post some links into
Yeah.
the previous ones,
yeah,
rather than have us repeat
Yes.
exactly what we said
Yeah.
before. Then you can watch them.
yes. So just, I think that the take that we want to do is a title "When Things Get Tough" at Christmas, because we know, and I know because I've been through it, how Christmas can be really, really difficult, and so we're going to talk about that. I'm just going to say a little bit about that, and then we're going to give you some firefighting tips if you're in the midst of it, and then talk about the kind of steps that you can take in the new year, because when you're feeling really helpless because somebody's putting you in a difficult position, it's good to know, but I do have power to do this.
Yes.
And so that's kind of where we're going to go.
We have things lined up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just want to say, first of all, and you're listening to this now, and please listen again if you find yourselves really feeling awful, because I have to say that Christmas is this time when so much expectation is built up. And we want it. I wanted it particularly as a mum for my children. And some of the loneliest times that I've ever felt is sitting there, maybe doing the stockings. My husband used to regularly get drunk on Christmas Eve, and I longed for him to sit and do the kids' stockings with me, and he never did, and so I was doing it by myself, and then sometimes the drink broke out on Christmas Day, and I remember I used to go down the end of my garden and just howling at the moon, as you call it, just really breaking my heart and just feeling so alone. It was really tough.
I can see that. I can see it's been really tough for you, and I have to say, me as a drinker, and my experience was that it's not that I didn't care, it didn't really matter to me. What mattered to me was my drinking, at that time, and everybody's having a good time because I am having a good time, and and everybody's miserable, and I'm unaware of it.
Yeah, and that was your most empowering thing in Christmas, is actually what you get if you started protesting is, it's Christmas. So there was this real sense of entitlement. So that's the first thing I want to say. And if you're coming back listening to it in the middle of a pretty miserable Christmas, just that we know how you feel, and you're not alone. One of the reasons that we've done this website is for this very reason, that there's people out there struggling, feeling alone and stranded. And I just want you to know, if you're in pain, you matter. Your pain matters. What's going on matters. It matters to us. And we hope to connect you with other people through this website. It matters to the other people that are maybe on the forum or are talking back in various situations in the website. So if you're in pain, if you're just crying, then just hear our love, our compassion, our concern. You matter. What's happening to you matters, and we're here to coach you and support you and bring you definitely to a better place. And if we can, bring your family and your drinker with you. So that's the first thing that I want to say, and I know me and John say that from the bottom of our heart.
Yeah, you're important to us. That's why we started the website in the first place, because
we give it free. So first of all, then, you matter. Your feelings matter. Your sadness matters. Secondly, though, if you're in the middle of this, then maybe I think some practical firefighting tips.
Okay, it's a bit late now, but I mean, the best firefighting tip is plan beforehand, because and one of the things about this time is the expectations that people have about how wonderful it could be, and it's almost like a Disney Christmas, and you see people get really sort of. They get really wound up about how good Christmas is, and unfortunately when it goes wrong, then there's a real slump, and I've said it elsewhere and I'll say it again, the distance between your expectations and reality is the measure of your disappointment, and And if you get too many expectations, then it can be difficult for you. But in saying that,
yeah, and it's not too late. I mean, some of the stuff we're posted, some of that can be done now. It's not too late to plan.
And we've said this in other videos, which, as again, there'll be links underneath.
Yeah. So, do what you can to head things off at the pass, because that's a really good idea. Yeah. Okay, if you're in the middle of it, all right, little tips here. First of all, don't confront. Never argue with the drunk. It doesn't help. It makes things worse. And you end up, usually the drunk will turn on you and then makes things worse.
It's absolutely pointless. I mean, you're trying to talk sense to somebody who is under the influence of a psychoactive drug.
Yeah. That's
the bottom line. They're under, their brains are addled with a psychoactive drug, and you're trying to sort of get some sense out of them. You're trying to get some empathy out of them.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. And particularly if you are going to actually confront and you're actually going to say you're not doing the right thing, then they will become very, very defensive.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
No.
It's pointless.
What you can do is you can negotiate, and you can certainly do that now. I think the approach I took with my drinker was, well, I know it's Christmas. I know that this is a time that will be very difficult to do that. So how about we negotiate? I won't make a fuss about you drinking, but if you do decide to go heavy on your drinking, will you take yourself away and do it in a different place so it doesn't disturb the kids' Christmas? Yes. And sometimes that really worked. I mean, sometimes it didn't, but sometimes that worked.
It's sort of Christmas equivalent of circling the wagons, It's you just find somewhere that you, the kids, and whoever else is there can actually have a quieter time and just say, you drink over there.
Yeah. So take yourself away if you can, if you possibly can. I mean, we say this anyway, don't we? Really.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that if you can plan ahead, and say, Mum, I might be round on Christmas Day, or my friend, or whoever. If you just have somewhere to go, then that's very, very useful.
Even if it's just the next room.
Yeah.
Take yourself away, walk around the park. And I mean, I know Christmas Day things are shut, but have some escape plan in your mind as an alternative place. Very bad to look at a drunk anyway, because your feelings drain away. I mean, the content that built up in me when I watched my drinker, what they're like, and it's not good for any feelings that you have. So it's important, and you can actually, again, this is something you can say to your drinker. Look, if you get a bit drunk at Christmas, I am going to go away for your sake, because what you don't want is to drain all my feelings by looking at you drinking. It's not an aphrodisiac. It doesn't make me feel I love you more. So again, that's something you can warn them in advance, but do take yourself away.
Even as a drinker, I can actually understand that, because I really experienced it once. My ex-wife came back from a Christmas party. I mean, well, I say came back, I had to go and scoop her up, put her to bed, clean up her sick, do all of that. And I was raging, and I just sat in the top of the stairs and I was ranting. And then I just got this glimpse of how I had been. And this realization, that was me.
Yeah.
A lot, not just the once, a lot. And it was such a revelation, because as you say, I had contempt for her.
Yeah.
And for a short period, hatred. Hatred in my heart.
And you can imagine this was once.
Oh, as I say, it was, I mean, all it was a glimpse. Yeah. I'm not saying that, oh yes, I know exactly how people, because I don't, but for that moment, I was in it and I could understand it. And it was powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The other firefighting thing, make yourself safe if you can. Just you do your basic things. Try and again, I've lived this. There are some things that I could not negotiate, but I could make sure that there was nothing out, that chip pans weren't left on. These kind of things. Just keep a bit of an eye on what's happening. Check back every now and then, and try and keep your environment as safe as you possibly can. Yeah. I think the other thing is you don't have to hang around if your drinker is becoming, boorish and badly behaved in a celebration situation or even with a family. If you know that these things happen, or at a party, what we recommend is that you actually leave at that point. Now, taxis, there is a bit of an issue at Christmas around here in terms of getting taxis. So again, you'll have to kind of figure out what that looks like. But if there's any way in which you can depart and take yourself away, you do not have to watch your partner misbehave in public. Or even with your family, make an agreement that maybe you'll leave if things get difficult. Again, think it through, negotiate, work out, your drinker, see if you can have some kind of little plans to firefight if things begin to go pear-shaped.
One of the things to look at is what happened last year. What happened the year before? Is there things that happened every year, And if they do, can you do something about it? Can you put some plan in place? If it's always when you invite somebody around and they start drinking together, is it something like that? But also try and negotiate that they don't drink until a certain time.
I did that over all my Christmases. And generally it worked. That I said, leave it please until the evening, and then you can drink what you want. And by then, as it got worse, I could shepherd the kids off to bed and things,
That works particularly well if you've got kids. Because you say, don't drink until the kids have got, so the kids get their Christmas, your drinker gets their drink, and they're not at the same time. And that makes it a wee bit easier.
And I've kind of talked that it's really hard. Above all else, as a mother, with what was going on, my mother that used to get incensed. But if you know that your drinker loves your children, conversely, if you actually appeal to the father bit, if he loves his kids, and say, you love your kids, so let's really protect them and try and give them a really good Christmas. That rather than appeal as a wife, probably the best way is to appeal as a mother to the father. And just affirm the love that he has for the children. And again, it is often softly catchy monkey.
It is,
That's a hard one because you carry quite a lot of residue anger around, and so you want to just tell him off and tell him what to do and all of those things, and you feel that you've earned the right, and you have. But it doesn't work, and so again, I think just negotiating and doing it in a really calm, courteous manner is more likely to get your needs met than if you do it in the other way.
Which is why we keep saying, that the Bottle Top is a pragmatic program. It's not sort of ideal as for you as the way you feel about it, but it is pragmatic. And if things don't work, try something else. If things keep not working, then stop doing them.
We don't, if you're new, we don't kind of legislate say do this, do that, the other, because your situation is unique and you are in a unique person. So it's kind of any which way that works, as long as it's not something illegal or whatever, and we would really support that. Just one more thing. Just want to say it's your Christmas too. You deserve to have a good time. So if you're going to use your anger, use it proactively by saying to yourself, it's my Christmas too. I'm going to enjoy myself as much as I know how. I'm not going to let that drinking get into my head. Don't let the drunkenness get into your head, and use your anger. I will not let him, her, them, whatever pronoun you want to use at that moment, I will not let them spoil my Christmas anymore. And use that anger and rise up and just be really firm and say, no, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do my best to care for myself and have a good Christmas.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, you do deserve a good Christmas. Your kids deserve a good Christmas, and they try and do that. Try and detach from the drinking. Try and detach from it. And that's what these tips are about. It's about trying to detach and do your own thing.
So that's some kind of firefighting tips. And 3, in the midst of that powerlessness, I think it really helps to remember that you're not powerless and there are steps that you can take. In fact, I think it'd be really good in the middle of January maybe just to do one, saying steps you can take to make this year better, maybe do that. But because there are steps that you can take, maybe to make your situation better, or maybe to make your drinker better. I think it'd be good for you to talk here because you're doing something, aren't you, in the new year?
Okay, a couple of things. I mean, we have the chain of care. So one of the things that, is you can donate to Bottled Up, because we want to keep Bottled Up going, and we'd like to keep it free, and you can donate to that so we keep going. And it's there for other people, it's there for you. That would be a good thing to do.
And that's all we ask is, if you're finding this helpful, please will you give something so that the next person comes along has the help that you're getting, because it is completely free. And we need actually people to really rise up and do this, because we support this because we're still working. We subsidise it, but when we retire, which we're going to have to do fairly soon, we're in our 70s, then we cannot support it anymore. So we need you to rise up and to just donate what you can to keep this going. That
probably surprised you when we said we were in our 70s. You probably thought we were in the 90s at least, but we're not.
Feels like it sometimes. Anyway, I was going to...
second thing is Dry January. Dry January is becoming a bit more of a sort of cultural thing, and that might be something that you suggest to your drinker. Now, Dry January, for some people, they see it as something that they're not doing. They can turn that on its head and say, okay, all the money that I would spend on drinking, you can actually put it to a charity and say, I am actually doing this for charity. So then it becomes a positive thing. Rather than, something that's been taken away, it's something you're giving. And that makes a big difference.
Now, can you talk about what's going to happen? Because this is a really proactive, this is something as a step you can take in January. So say what you're doing.
I'm doing a kind of intensive course for 6 weeks. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to help people who really want to make a real difference in their drinking. And I'm going to take them through a 6-week course.
Is it for drinkers or for families?
No, it's for families.
For families, okay.
It's for families. And they going to take them right through how to prepare and deliver an intervention.
Okay. Right.
So we're going to go through all the steps that you need to take, because you don't do an intervention by saying, okay, I'm going to do it now. You see this on the TV. That's not the way you do it. Not if you're going to be successful. And a lot of the literature reckons, between 70 and 90% of interventions can be successful, but only if you put in the work. And I'm going to show you how to put in that work. And so I'm going to take you through step by step and do that. Some of it will be live, but most of it will be on videos that you can watch over and over and over again.
Good. Okay? And so an intervention is that point, for those of you that don't know, where you actually sit and challenge the drinker, and you kind of put down a boundary, and say this has got to stop, and it's got to be done.
I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it.
Okay.
One's about boundaries, and the other one is about stopping drinking altogether. And there's similar planning goes into them, but different sort of outcomes and different approaches to it. Okay, so I'll do you through. It will be there will be a charge for this. But I'll be keeping it as low as I possibly can.
We always do that.
But I need to do that. Okay. So if you are interested in it, then what I suggest is that you put your name down. Register for it.
How do they do that?
There'll be a link below this video.
Okay.
So I'll put a link below it. If you click on that link and register and just let us know. It doesn't mean that you have to do it. It doesn't mean you have to pay anything. It just means that I get an idea of how many people really would like to do this. And because I don't want to do this if nobody is interested. But if there are people who are interested, then I'm happy to do this. And I think you'll find it is quite powerful.
And it's it'll be kicking in kind of towards the end of January. So it's a period actually that a lot of people have got free, isn't it? It's a good
it'll be starting in the middle of January. So we'll have Christmas out of the way, and we'll then plunge into it. Okay.
Good. Okay then. So all that remains is us to wish you a very happy Christmas, if you or a Christmas, at least a surviving Christmas. Maybe it's a bit more realistic, but with moments and pockets of real joy.
Yeah.
And a really kind of may 2024 be a time of real positive and healthy change.
Yeah.
And remember to just tune back in if you're having a hard time. And lots of love.
Yeah, we're here virtually at least.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So there are lots of messages in here.
And
there's tons of material, tons of resources, if you remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you matter. Your Christmas matters.
You do.
And we send loads and loads of love. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.